Well, just when you thought vapor products were not bad for you, here's another one coming out of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. I received this in an email. Anyone can receive these emails, and it says some e-cigarette users are having seizures. Most reports involving youth and young adults. And it says the FDA has become aware that some people who use e-cigarettes have experienced seizures, with most reports involving youth or young adult users. Seizures or convulsions are known potential side effects of nicotine toxicity and have been reported in the scientific literature in relation to intentional or accidental swallowing of e-liquid. Now, and before I go on, it reminds me of something that even Vaping Fagan was having, actually. It's probably due, once again, to these high nicotine salts. That's what's going on here. However, a recent uptick in voluntary reports of adverse experiences with tobacco products that mentioned seizures occurring with e-cigarette use, for example, vaping, signal a potential emerging safety issue. The FDA continues to monitor all adverse experiences reported to the agency about the use of e-cigarettes and encourages the public to report cases of individuals who use e-cigarettes and have had a seizure via the online safety reporting portal as further described below. Excuse me. Seizures result from sudden abnormal electrical activity in the brain. They're often associated with convulsions in which a person's entire body shakes uncontrollably. Not all seizures show full body shaking. Other possible signs of seizures include a lapse in awareness or consciousness, which may look like a person is staring blankly into space for a few seconds or suddenly stops moving. The person may or may not fall down. Most seizures end in a few seconds or minutes, and the person may seem fine, sleepy, confused, or have a headache afterwards. They may not remember what they were doing or what happened right before the seizure. While seizures generally do not cause a lasting harm, they indicate the need for prompt medical attention to look for a cause and to prevent future seizures. The FDA has been receiving voluntary adverse experience reports about tobacco products since 1988, and you can see the rest. After examining a Poison Control Center's reports between 2010 and early 2019, the FDA determined that between the Poison Control Centers and the FDA, there were a total of 35 reported cases of seizures, mentioning use of e-cigarettes within that time frame. Due to the voluntary nature of these case reports, there may be more instances of seizure in e-cigarette users that have been reported. And then it goes on a little bit. Just another little thing to add to our coffins, another nail into the coffin. Youth and young adult users should also be aware that some e-cigarettes, also called vapes, can contain high levels of nicotine, even as much nicotine as a pack of regular cigarettes, like nicotine salts. Get it? Teens who vape may end up addicted to nicotine faster than teens who smoke. And I've said that before. Vapes may be used more frequently because they are easier to hide and may expose users to more nicotine. There are no safe tobacco products. Got it? Nothing safe out there. When you have a seizure, hit your head against a cabinet or a table, and kaboom, you're gone. The FDA is seeking more information about seizures following e-cigarette use to identify common risk factors and understand if any e-cigarette product attributes, such as nicotine content or formulation, may contribute to seizures. When reporting an adverse experience, please be sure to include, and you see all the goodies that ought to be included. And then you have additional resources. And this was last updated on April 3rd, 2019. So now we have a whole issue regarding seizures. What else? People like Vape Passion or whoever else out there is going to turn things around here, try to find some weakness in it. Just accept the fact that electronic cigarettes or vapor products, that's how I prefer to call them anyway, as most people do. Vapor products are not perfect, far from it. Maybe even in some instances just as bad as a combustible cigarette. As time goes by, I'm telling you, I always say 30, 40 years. It might be shorter than that. It might be 5, 10 years when you will find that maybe it's laying dormant in our systems. Who knows? But there is a potentiality, let alone a good probability, that vaping will actually cause cancers and tumors and everything else eventually, and may even kill you due to that laying dormant in your system. Like a person that smokes combustible cigarettes, it can lay in there. They start 20 years of age, they smoke combustible cigarettes for 30 years, and all of a sudden they're having ailments. By the time they're 60 or 70, they're diagnosed with cancer due to that combustible cigarette. It can lie in your system for 30 years. Well, vapor products haven't been around for 30 years. Who knows what this is doing to us? Now, I'm 60 years old. I don't have too much to worry about because I'll be dead anyway in about 10 years or whatever. Hope not, but you never know. But those that are vaping at the age of 20 or 18 and outward into their 20s, 30s, and 40s, there's a good probability that by the time they hit their 50s and 60s, they're going to have cancers, heart disease, whatever else have you. There is conclusive evidence already that says that vaping causes DNA damage. There is inconclusive evidence, but there is a probability or potentiality that it causes cancers and heart disease and lung damage. Now, like I said, I'm 60, that's one thing. But how about the 20-year-old? And especially the person under the age of 18, that under federal law, let alone state law, you can, and its territories of the U.S., you can't vape. But let's say they do vape for the next 20, 30, 40 years, and it lays dormant in their system, and then all of a sudden they have cancers. And now they're showing it actually causes or having seizures, and mainly youth and young adults. And it's mainly due to this nicotine salt. I'm telling you, they need to ban, I hate to tell you that, but it's true. They need to ban nicotine salts at 50 milligrams and over. In fact, they need to ban nicotine salts at 18 milligrams and over. I know some will say, yeah, well, it's not effective. Bullshit. I don't care. They need to ban this particular nicotine salt off the U.S. markets and its territories, let alone all the media attention that we get anyway. But they need to ban this stuff. We don't need to have this on the market. And they can. The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, Center for Tobacco Products, actually has power to literally ban all nicotine salts off of the market. Will they do it? Well, who knows? I think FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, he has, a couple, 2 or 3 days left in his as being the commissioner. So who knows what's going to happen? But interim FDA Commissioner Norman, Edward, and Ned Sharpless may very well do so, as well as whatever permanent commissioner they get into place. This is no joke, guys. Don't make light of seizures, especially among the youth. And maybe Vaping Fagin was sort of having a little signs of that when he went down on the floor and couldn't get up due to the nicotine salt that he was doing, and it was too much for him. Anyway, I wanted to share this with you, keep you up to date on these things coming out of the FDA. Like I said, it's just another nail in our coffin. And on that point, guys, try to have a good one. Bye-bye.